Andrew from England writes into Beyond at ign.com.
Wait, Andrew from England?
Just
Andy
like
House?
you can. I hope so, but I don't
Andy
think
House?
so. He wouldn't have done
Is he
that.
obviating?
No, he's not obviating. Good morning, Greg. Colin, the ever-rotating third chair. After hearing the recent news about Sony admitting that fewer first-party games are on their way, I feel it's time to let go of the Vita after being a supporter of the Vita since its release. Buying and playing fantastic games like Persona, Killzone, and Sound Shapes, investing my time and money into the great little system. I am thinking about trading my Vita in towards a 3DS and PlayStation 4 games.
Don't you dare do it.
This is Andy House. He's given up.
God, if you're giving up Andy House.
I feel a little betrayed by Sony. As much as I'm looking forward to Eastern games like Freedom Wars and Danganronpa 2, I don't feel I can support Sony's, quote, failing console any longer, as my money can go towards a console that will be supported longer than 2 years. After seeing the great job Nintendo did of rescuing the 3DS, do you think Sony are wrong to just give up and admit defeat? A big beyond all of you. Much love, Andrew from England.
Yeah, but they haven't given up and admitted defeat. They've just changed the messaging on Vita like 17 different times.
Yeah, well,
that's
trouble.
The Vita's in trouble, and we'll get to some pertinent numbers about Vita in a little while. But I'm disappointed that they're not doing more. But I understand the business reality of why they're not doing more. But Vita, I think, is going to be around for a while, and I think that it's doing fine in its niche, but. For more people need to pick it up. It's around 9 or 10 million sold, which is not good. That is kind of Sega Saturn territory.
Yep.
Saturn
was 8 million.
Yeah, Dreamcast territory, more like. But does it need more support? Yes. Is it fine as it is? Yeah. Are we going to continue to get new games on it? Yes, we will. And there's a lot of companies, a lot of smaller companies, Xseed and Axis and NIS and Bandai Namco, bringing games over still. So it really depends, and all the indies that are coming, and a lot of the indies are very quiet right now. I mean, we just wrote I just wrote a preview for Axiom Verge. That game is going to be bonkers on Vita, man. Yeah. That game's going to be awesome. That game's going to come out until 2015. So
sure. That's the same problem you're always talking about, right? That's cross-buy.
It is, but it's native to Vita too. Yeah. So it's not just like a thing where you have to sit with your Vita and then you're on the same network as your PS4 and you're playing games on PS. I think that Sony's fooling itself if they think that is the only future for Vita, that it has to have its own support too. And I'd be strong. I don't think we've seen the last of AAA Western development for it. I really don't.
No, I hope not.
But I think that we have to just have reasonable expectations. I think that the Vita right now is a machine for people that are fans of indie games and Japanese games, and that might never change.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hope for the same turnaround we saw with the PSP, right, where that trucked along struggling. Nobody was happy with it for a while there, and then there was that Destination PlayStation event where it was like, we're bringing out a MotorStorm and a Little Big Planet and all these in Assassin's Creed, and they said, we've been going on this road show behind closed doors. John Kohler made a big deal about this. We've been on this road show where we're getting people excited for it and making them understand. You hope for something there, right? Because it seems like we get emails and tweets all the time right now, right, that people can't find Vitas in stores because the Borderlands bundles are sold out. So now what's happening?
That's the frustrating thing, right? Like, people actually want it now, and they can't find it because Sony so severely underestimated the demand for it that people are like, how many tens of thousands of people just lost interest in it because they're like, I can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they think it's dead. Like, some of these people are like, is it dead?
Yeah.
Is it it?
I'm worried that you talked about the change messaging over and over and over again. Those kinds of mixed messages are what cause platforms to fail. I mean, not every time, but many times that they failed, it's come from bad marketing, it's come from bad messaging, it's come from mixed signals and confusion. And while I enjoy my Vita and I think that it's got a lot of life left in it, if I want to play a few really good games over the course of the next few years, my Vita is going to be a great place to do it. But I think if you're talking about volume and you have a limited budget, Andrew's sitting here saying, I'm thinking about selling this, grabbing my 3DS and playing 40 games, he's going to have more to play on his 3DS. He's not necessarily going to have a better game, but he's going to have a better selection of games. I think that's probably true at this point.
Here's the problem, Colin, is that a long time ago, someone came into the ever-rotating third chair, and I won't name names, but they came in talking about this game Suikoden 2 and how it was going to change my life. And there's still no Suikoden 2, Jared Petty.
Yeah, I've let America down.
You've let the world down. We're an international podcast. Andrew in England's crying. He's selling it because he was waiting for Suikoden.
It makes me very sad because, generally speaking, it is not free to have your game rated by the ESRB. It costs money. And Sony went out and spent money to have this rated for the PlayStation 3, and now it's just floating. I'm horrified. It's part of some bottom line that just got trimmed or something. But I really do. I still think with nothing but my soul to tell me this, that we'll see it, and we'll see it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you'll see it. Yeah,
but I don't think it's gotten trimmed. The PlayStation 3, pardon me, still has such strong legs. This
tree trunk of legs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this generation's been next gen. Has been kind of coexisting with current gen in a very comfortable way for the last several months. So I think there's plenty out there to justify releasing it.
And you'll be able to play it on Vita.
Huh?
And you'll be able to play it on Vita.
And that right there justifies...
And if I can't play it on Vita, Jared,
yeah.
Your ass is grass.
If you can't play it on Vita, you can bring me on the show and spank me, Greg.
Thank you.
All right. It's all right.
Sounds kind of hot.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it's exceedingly rare for somebody or a company to ESRB rate something and not actually release it. So I think that there's probably just some semantics that they're clearing up in the background. It's just not time yet. It's just not the time's not right.
Sure.
Yeah.
They've always been weird about this game. It has a terrible translation. I think sometimes that's internally caused some trouble. I mean, there was a PSP re-release of Suikoden 1 and 2 in a compilation pack, and they would not let him release it in the West because it had no additional features, and they were worried about the translation. It just makes me want to cry.
That's why you retranslate it. Not a difficult thing.
I like how you said it and shook your head and made those eyes.
Yeah.
Those piercing eyes you make.
So anyway, like in terms of Vita's success or lack of success and all these kinds of things, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's just a matter of like what you're looking for. I'm looking forward to a ton of stuff coming to it. I have Danganronpa 2. I'm very excited to play it. I haven't started playing it yet. Tales of Hearts R. I'm super excited about that. There's like a bunch of indie games. Velocity 2X is going to be awesome on Vita. Axiom Verge, like I said, is going to be awesome on Vita. I played something like 40 Vita games at E3, for about 3 or 4 minutes each. I was doing it for a piece. I just never wrote it.
Don't forget that Minecraft.
Metrico, Minecraft. Metrico is awesome. Minecraft, Binding of Isaac's coming. Hotline Miami 2 is going to be on it. There's like all this great stuff coming to Vita. So, and it's not only coming to Vita, some of these games, but then there are those only coming to Vita games like Freedom Wars. Maybe we'll get God Eater 2 at some point out here. There's Trails of the Skies and East games that are coming out in Japan that I wouldn't be surprised if they got translated. If games like Monster Monpiece are getting translated, then God forbid a world where we don't get some of these great RPGs that are coming. So I just think it's very much, I agree with you, it's very much like the PSP in the sense that it's a Japanese machine, but the PSP at the point of that destination PlayStation was selling much better than the Vita was.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So, I mean, Monster Hunter had done its thing in Japan, and that had given us new life over here, and I understand Vita's doing pretty well in Japan, but I still, if a kid comes to me right now and says, hey, I can have my Vita library, or I can have the 3DS library, it's getting harder and harder to make that argument when you look ahead 2 years.
I don't disagree. Although the 3DS is not a bastion of new releases either.
No, it's not.
But you can play Shovel Knight on it right now.
Yes, you can.